From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your Evening Update.
Cascade Paint and Supply is Reading's oldest family-owned paint store, established in 1953. We are the largest Dunn Edwards dealer in the nation, and most of our products are made in the U.S. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff are ready to answer your questions and help you today.
Well, as the storm system approaches over the weekend, I want to remind you that we've got a free Weather NorCal app where you can track the storm. Not only can you check out the radar and the current conditions and all the good stuff that you need to find out what's going on with the weather, but you got access to me. You got access to all of my latest weather updates, the video updates. You got the 24-hour streaming channel if you want to check out your particular neighborhood that you either live in or you're going to here in Northern California. You can check it out there as well. So be sure to check out the free Weather NorCal app for both your iPhone and your Android. All right, let's get you into the forecast here. And there you can see, of course, a few showers here for Saturday, but really, I'm not expecting Saturday to be a big day for rain or snow. It's kind of a transition as we go into the next storm system going into Sunday. So we do have another atmospheric river coming in Sunday, but I want to remind you that is a weak atmospheric river. We'll talk about that in a little bit more detail here in a second, but we do have the potential for travel delays on Sunday. If there's a day over the weekend that I suggest or recommend that you don't travel if you don't have to, it is Sunday, and in particular, Sunday morning. But conditions, even though they'll improve a little bit on Sunday afternoon, it's still not going to be that great out there. And then it looks like the rain chances, and not to mention snow in the mountains, will continue into next week. All right, so here's what it looks like here for tonight and into tomorrow morning. You can see maybe still a few isolated thunderstorms here for parts of the north coast late tonight, early tomorrow morning. Otherwise, you can see some clearing, even for the inland areas and for Trinity County. Not much in the way of rain or snow as we take you into your Saturday. All right, let's take a look at the valley. And you got the overcast skies and still some clouds, a few isolated showers overnight tonight. You know, and there may be a few showers here and there through the day tomorrow, but you can see some breaks in the clouds. That'll be the case for Siskiyou County as well, and not to mention the eastern mountains. Just not a lot of rain and snow. All right, let's talk about atmospheric rivers now. So, you know, up until this point, one of the things I like to do here at Weather NorCal is kind of get to the whole point of it's not about hype. I don't want to give you all this hype about an upcoming storm. It's just about giving you the facts and what's going on with the weather. And then you decide what you need to do from there, okay? So atmospheric rivers, this is a term that many of us have heard way too much. It seems as though the local media in general, has taken this phrase and has just overinflated its overall meaning. And what a lot of people don't realize is that there are 5 categories of atmospheric rivers, 1 to 5. 1 being primary beneficial, not a big, huge impact. 5 having the largest impact, okay? Now, to give you an idea, the atmospheric river we saw on Wednesday was a category 2. We saw some flooding, we saw some gusty winds, and the category that we're going to see on Sunday is actually a 1. And in fact, the main atmospheric river is not going to be pointed right at us, but the source of moisture is going to be to our south. That's where that main atmospheric river will be. In fact, we take a look at, see right here, this is blue. So we don't have any atmospheric rivers here in the areas in white all the way through tomorrow. But as we go into Sunday and into Monday, you see how we see this little spike? This is when we get into the atmospheric river 1. Now, let's talk about that here for a second. All right, we're going to take a look at the moisture content. This is a forecast model looking at how much moisture is in the atmosphere. Dry conditions, this is that subtropical moisture. This is the Pineapple Express, the atmospheric river. Well, look what happens as we get into closer to the weekend. We take you into Saturday and into Sunday. Here's Sunday morning. Now, you see how the main atmospheric river right here, you see how it's pointed actually to central and southern California, but not really right directly on top of us. But we do have an area of low pressure that's tapping into this moisture and streaming it up into northern California. But notice what happens as we go into Sunday afternoon and into Monday. That atmospheric river actually shifts to the south over southern California, and we're still going to have some leftover moisture. And we're still going to see showers on Monday, but the main event will be on Sunday. All right, so let's kind of really paint the picture here for you a little bit better. So we've got an area of low pressure right here with colder air. In fact, the colder air has been moving in over the last couple of days, including today. That's why we've seen the showers and scattered thunderstorms out there as well. But this colder air is in place. Okay, so that's the key number one. Factor number two is right here. This is the atmospheric river taking shape. You saw that on that moisture content map, right? So an area of low pressure will develop eventually. So you've got low pressure to our north with colder air associated with it, and this low pressure system here that's tapping into that subtropical moisture, that atmospheric river that's taking shape. This is Saturday. So again, not much going on at this point. Everything's still in its developing phases. But these two are going to work together. Now, the colder air is pretty much going to stay in place over Northern California. So as we go into Sunday morning, what's going to happen is that warm subtropical moisture moves into Northern California, and we see the colder air still in place. So we have a lot of moisture, which would mean heavy snow in some of the lower elevations, down to as low as 2,000 feet. That's early in the morning on Sunday. But eventually what happens is that warmer air continues to migrate northward through the day on Sunday, and in a sense, the colder air kind of scours out. So through the day on Sunday, those snow levels will start to rise, but still stay somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 feet. But again, we're going from 2,000 feet up to about 3,500, 4,000 feet. That makes a huge difference when we're talking about chain requirements. So I think, when we talk about travel, it's Sunday, again, that we talk about. Of course, there's looking into Monday. All right, now let's take you into now and put you through the next few days and walk you through the timing as we go through the weekend, okay? I've got the snow levels here. Keep that as a point of reference. And keep a point of reference, of course, where the rain is. So we go into tonight at 11 o'clock. We're not really seeing a whole lot going on, right? We're just seeing a few scattered showers, a few snow flurries here and there between 3,000 and 4,000 feet. Probably closer to 3,000 feet actually here for tonight. Tomorrow morning, again, a few snow flurries, maybe down to 2,500 to 3,000 feet. So yeah, we could be running into some snow places on Mount Shasta and of course on Highway 89. But again, we're not seeing a lot of widespread rain and snow. We progress through the day on Saturday. And here's another factor that we really have to take into account, and that is, look at the amount of clearing that we're seeing here. This is another factor to the colder air. So the colder air is already moving in, and we're noticing that. That's why we're seeing the scattered showers. That's why we're seeing the scattered thunderstorms. It's that cold and unstable air that's in place. But now when you clear things out and you have the cold air in place, now we really drop those temperatures, and they drop even colder. And then what happens is, as the storm system approaches, high clouds move in, and it traps in that colder air. So what happens is when we see these storm systems come in, no matter how warm they are, we've got cold air to start things off with. And that allows us to start off with low snow levels. So you can see all the snow off to the east. Now this isn't terribly heavy snow right now in the first part of it, but we are seeing at 6 a.m. snow levels between 2,000 and 2,500 feet. Hayfork, I think you'll see some snow. Same thing for Weaverville as well. Buckhorn Summit, Scott Mountain, I think it's going to be snow up there. And even on I-5, we'll start with some of that snow Sunday morning at 6 a.m. All right, let's progress until about 9 a.m. Colder air still in place. It hasn't really scoured out just yet. So snow levels still between 2,000 and 2,500 feet. Now notice the heavy rain we have in the valley. You're going to notice that already, okay? Hayfork, Weaverville, I think you're going to see some snow. I think we're also going to see some snow on Buckhorn Summit right here. That's going to be a problem traveling on Highway 299 West. I-5, I think we could be dealing with at the very least, chain requirements, maybe chain checks out of the Fondale exit, and if there are issues, if there are spinouts and just a mess, maybe even a closure on I-5. Again, depending on how heavy that gets and how long that colder air stays in place. Highway 89, you can of course see plenty of snow off to the east. Shingletown, 3,500 feet, yeah, I think you'll see some snow. Not to mention around Bernie as well. Okay, now we're going to take you to about the noon hour. Notice what I've done with the snow levels. Now we're going from 3,000, from about 3, it's going to range, that is, between 3,000 and 3,500 feet. So snow levels are starting to rise at this point. So notice I-5. You see how we're seeing less snow on I-5 up towards Mount Shasta, but maybe around Mount Shasta, we may see some of that snow on I-5. But look at Buckhorn Summit, look at Scott Mountain. Still Buckhorn Summit most likely still seeing some snow, but we're beginning to see Hayfork most likely in the form of rain, maybe a bit of a mix at this point as well as Weaverville. And you can see to the east, I think Shingletown may still be dealing around 3,500 feet, may still be dealing with some snow, but maybe kind of turning more into a slushy snow. Okay, now we're going to take you into about 3 p.m. on Sunday. Still looking at the heavy rainfall for many of us in the valley. But notice all along I-5 here. Looks like it's mainly in the form of rain. Look at all along Highway 299. Mainly in the form of rain. Okay, so by 3 p.m., snow levels continue to climb a little bit here, and conditions, at least as far as snow and chain requirements are concerned, may improve. But that's not guaranteed. You need to keep a close eye on those chain requirements throughout the day on Sunday. Sunday, 6 p.m., now it's all mainly pushing off to the north and to the east, and things are drying out to the south. And then as we go into Sunday night, most of it's off to the east, and not to mention up to the north. Snow levels still somewhere between 3,000 and 3,500 feet. Okay, so let's take a look at the forecast rain totals. All right, there you can really see it kind of fluctuates and gets much higher as we go into Sunday. I think we could see over an inch of rain in the valley, and that's where most of the rain is going to be. We'll see less along the coast and elsewhere. Snow, let's kind of stop you through time here. I don't think we're going to see accumulating snow on Saturday for Weaverville and Hayfork, but it is picking up on the lower snow levels. Could we see maybe some light accumulation around Bernie? Not entirely out of the question, but I think the better chances will be on Sunday. Look at that. Now we're really seeing the snow pile up. I think it's not out of the question. Chester could see about a foot of snow, give or take. It's not out of the question. So, I mean, you want to talk about travel delays east of I-5 on Sunday. That's going to be a problem here. But look at Mount Shasta. Mount Shasta City could be looking at some accumulating snow there, and maybe some light snow around Hayfork and Weaverville. Should be interesting any way you look at it. And, of course, even Bernie. But as you start heading towards Shingletown, places like that, it may be a little bit more difficult here. But I think Shingletown, 3,500 feet, could see some accumulating snow. All right, so here's what it looks like tomorrow. You see how the impacts are mainly to the south, especially as we go into Saturday night. But as we go into Sunday, look at these impacts. Now it's really beginning to show here, right? You can see all the reds and oranges on the map here. That is moderate to even major impacts when it comes to storm impacts. And when we talk about that, it's mainly snow and chain requirements. That is going to be the biggest concern. So as I mentioned, if there's a day you should not travel if you don't have to, it's Sunday. After that, conditions should improve, though, especially as we go in the second half of the day on Sunday, and not to mention Monday. All right, we always love to show you this. This here's the ski park right here, and you're talking over a foot of snow. A foot, 2 feet of snow, not out of the question here, especially as we go through the day on Sunday. Because even though when the snow levels rise, it's still going to be in the form of snow for Mount Shasta and at the for the ski park throughout all of the day on Sunday. So yeah, dumping of snow should be a very good possibility. Let's take you into Monday. We're still seeing some showers. You see how the snow is starting to climb a bit. Snow levels will be a little bit higher on Monday. And then really as we go through next week, we will see off and on chances for showers here Thursday maybe of next week. Timing, intensity of any rain we see next week, still up in the air at this point. Seeing a lot of discrepancy in the long range forecast models, but you get the idea. We still have a better chance of seeing that above normal rainfall, and not to mention below normal temperatures. This should be a big help because we're going to see the wet weather. With below normal temperatures, that keeps those snow levels for the most part fairly low. Low enough that we'll get a nice snowpack in the Sierra, and not to mention in the southern Cascades. So here are your wave heights as we take you into your Saturday afternoon. They'll actually start to drop a bit down to about 3 feet. And then we go into Sunday, looks like they'll drop even more. Even though we got that storm system coming in, but it's really not going to have a big impact on those winds. It's mainly just going to be the rain and not to mention the lower elevation snow. So your marine forecast for your Saturday, south winds at 15 to 20 knots. There you can see a small crest advisory here throughout the day on Saturday. So yes, the winds are dying down a bit, but we still have some high waves out there. Temperatures tonight should drop down to the upper 30s to low 40s. It is getting colder. I think we will see a little bit of clearing in some spots, and that's going to keep those temperatures probably somewhere in the mid-20s, give or take, for the higher elevations. But for Trinity County, upper 20s, low 30s, inland areas, upper 30s to around 40 along the coast tonight. Let's take a look at your neighborhood forecast for Trinity County, and there you can see temperatures for your Saturday in the low to mid-40s for your daytime highs. We do have snow levels 2,500 feet Saturday, but keep in mind, we're not going to see much in the way of rain or snow. Better chances on Sunday. Now, I've got 3,000 feet on Sunday, but keep in mind, we start the day off around 2,000 feet and locally lower. So as I mentioned, places like Weaverville, places like Hayfork may just get to see some snowflakes, especially as we go into Sunday morning. Here's a look at your North Coast forecast for your Saturday. Temperatures are going to be in the low to mid 50s. We take you up north with 53 degrees for Smith River, as well as Gas Key and Crescent City. That's also the case for Klamath, Orick, 52 out in Hoopa. Here's your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast, and you can see places like Fort Jones about 44, 36 for Tennant, McLeod a high tomorrow of only 37 and 39 degrees in Dunsmuir. Here's your Modoc County neighborhood forecast, 39 degrees for Tule Lake, 38 for Canby, 38 for Aden, and there you can see Fort Bidwell, a high of about 38 degrees. And your Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast, 43 degrees out in Shingletown, 37 in Kronberg, 47 out in Paradise, and of course we've got 41 degrees in Susanville. Here is your Valley neighborhood forecast brought to you by Historic Cause Farms. Of course, you've got the chance for showers tomorrow, but mainly dry. Should be a good day to maybe get out and enjoy actually a hike or something. And then if we go into Sunday, we've got the heavier rainfall coming in. And then, of course, we've got temperatures in the low 50s. So still a little bit on the chilly side, a cooler, let's just call it coolish, if you will. 50 degrees for Redding, 48 degrees for the city of Shasta Lake, Cottonwood 50, and Red Bluff a high of about 52 degrees. All right, so here's your 7-day outlook for Redding. Of course, you got the rain on Sunday. Could be heavy at times, especially in the morning. And then we take it through the afternoon. The rain will start to kind of diminish a little bit here. Monday, still a chance for showers. I think maybe a break on Tuesday, but off and on chances for rain through next week. And keeping those temperatures really mainly for the next 7 days in the low to mid 50s.